Hey, everybody.
Andrew and I were both playing drums to the intro. I was like,
To the intro part.
that's the wrong studio for this. That's over there.
I don't know, man, honestly, if lap drums was an instrument, I would be decent at it. Decent.
Me too. But
Slightly below
alas.
average. Steering wheel too. Is that you?
No, my computer's not plugged in. I don't know what that is.
Okay. Anyways, welcome here, guys.
That's more inspirational music to get you psyched up to play guitar today.
That was very inspirational.
It was. I was expecting some kind of motivational speaker to run in the room. Anyway, I hope they heard it. Otherwise, this just looks dumb.
Wouldn't it be cool if someone ran in from outside?
I can see Taylor doing that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Anyways, guys, welcome to another Guitareo live Q&A. As usual, we're just going to hang out, answer questions, talk about guitars. What other shenanigans and things?
Shenanigans!
I've never used that word, actually.
I always think of Family Guy when I hear shenanigans.
What else? Are we, do you have something you wanted to talk about today? Are we going to talk about it?
Not really. I busted out this guitar.
Alvarez.
I haven't played it much in a while. The weird thing about this guitar, I was playing my Taylor last night, and then I picked this one up, and I had headphones on like I have right now while I was playing because I was watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
As soon as I picked it up, I was like, well, this is louder
Yeah.
than my Taylor, but this doesn't have nearly as much bass as the Taylor, which is a little counterintuitive, but it has a crap ton more mids.
Yeah. You can definitely hear that. You can hear that.
But the Taylor feels louder when you're behind it in a normal room, but like, I don't know, it's just deceiving. So this one I was like, whoa.
Man, I'd be curious to hear like the recorded difference. Same mic setup.
Yeah, I've never done that. So. Not with a good setup, anyways. With a
sure.
kind of setup I have. So.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, guys, you guys can feel free to submit questions in the question box. I think they still go to your inbox. I think.
They go to one of them.
They go to eight,
and it's supposed to be fixed.
and
That's the last I heard it was fixed. So.
Okay, maybe it's fixed, maybe it's not.
But I always have both up.
Yeah,
so
just in
matter.
case.
Yeah.
So make sure you submit those questions or throw them into chat. What is there? Is it a special time? It's post Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys all wrote love songs for
PVD.
Hopefully you guys all wrote love songs for your significant others and performed them. I'm sure. I mean, I didn't.
I did not. Kenneth did. He didn't write it this year in the forums. He had a song that he wrote.
Really?
About his. I think it's more about his whole relationship with his wife.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so.
That's really
If
cool.
you haven't seen that, check it out in the forums.
There is something very special about the guitar and other instruments and music for being the courier of cool love messages, right?
That's right.
Or at least the medium. So feel free to submit any questions. Any questions in chat are perfectly fine, but make sure you get those in. Otherwise, we won't have anything to talk about, and we'll just go. Let's play something.
Okay, this tune is like a modern church tune, but it's a very interesting guitar part on it that I had to come up with because I play with my wife. It's a polyrhythm, I guess that's what you'd call it. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's the thumb part is in 6/8, and the finger part is in 4/4. I'll play. Yeah. And it's very classical feeling because you have these ridiculous spreads in there like that you have to
notice that, yeah.
But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can look at that as like 3/2, or you can look at it as some just different.
So would it be 3/2 and not 3/4?
I don't know.
3. Yeah, interesting.
But all I know is if you listen to this, you're in 6/8.
You do.
If you listen to this, you're in 4/4.
You do hear that polyrhythm a lot in popular music, though. That is a popular one. I've heard that a lot.
For some reason, I always I forget this so quickly. Really? I think it's because I'm constantly playing it in different keys or putting 13s on, down tuning a whole step and doing it in a different key, but I'm constantly forgetting it. I'm like, oh dear.
The part?
The part, the exact frets and everything.
Oh man.
I could play it up here one day. Yeah, see, there you go.
Nice.
So.
Well, let's play something and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's only 4 chords. If you want to play along, it's just A minor. G, F, and C. And I'm gonna tune before we start, don't worry. And then the verses just go to A minor, G, and F. That's it. So it doesn't go to the C on the verses. But once you get to the chorus, it puts the C in there to kind of give it a little bit of a major lift, as what's his name said.
Oh, from Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, Leonard Cohen, yeah.
Now, I'm not forgive me, I'm not super familiar with the song, so whatever I play over it probably won't sound
Oh, it doesn't
like
matter.
the normal thing.
It's just a progression that we're using to jam, right?
Yeah.
With the little theme thrown in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like that's like knowing. I was thinking today, like our purpose here at Guitareo is to get you to where you can play the music that you want, and not have to depend on other people. Like I need to go have a YouTube video to where I can figure out a song, or I need to for somebody to tell me what chords are in this key, or how to interpret this tab or something. The goal here is to get you to where you can understand music enough on your own to where you can hear a song and just jump into it. And all I told Andrew like before we did, I was like, all this is a 6/5/4 in the key of C, and there's a C thrown in a couple spots, and he just went for it. All that is, and like all I was doing is just kind of improvising fingerstyle patterns, whatever it sounded good for the song, and then Andrew just took it away, man.
I mean, very quickly we could like so if I just this for the sake of doing this for fun, if I were to just I've heard the progression, whatever it is, a couple of times. If I were to just take, let's say I'm taking over the rhythm part a little bit. You can see like the song didn't really, even though I didn't know the part, the song didn't really lose its legs. Like it still sounded like a thing, right? And it still sounded similar enough to this song. And when I was even playing the lead stuff, I'm sure it's the same for you. The stuff you're playing is not that hard to grasp, right? It's like the physical part is not that hard. It's not like we're shredding or anything like that. And the theory part is actually like it's not so far away.
It's not unattainable at all.
Yeah, as you might think it is. So it's pretty cool. This type of jamming is really cool. So if you guys have any questions, even about what we're talking about right here, like this stuff, I'd love to answer them. Looks like we've already got questions in here, so let us see.
Oh, check my inbox as well.
Sure.
While you do that.
I already see one thing. in here? Oh, there's like a bunch. Okay, so we'll start right at the top. We'll get moving through this. So this is from Steven. Nate, because you called everyone guitarios,
Yep.
akin to drumios.
Yep.
Nate, we are guitar aficionados, not guitarios. Or, well, maybe they're the same. Can we define guitario as guitar aficionado?
I like that idea.
I do like that idea.
I think we might get in trouble with the magazine, but
I will be honest.
Actually, it could put us in good standing with the magazine.
Guitar aficionado, excellent magazine.
It's very good.
I feel like it's like buying a really nice bottle of wine when I do purchase one.
I go out and I buy a bottle of scotch, Guitar
Right?
aficionado, and cigar aficionado, and I have my night set for me. And just go grab my Taylor or this guitar and just play.
When Lindsay and I first got married, that was one of our things was when we would go away somewhere, it would be like, okay, we'd get like, for me, I'm into like nice craft beer, she was into nice wine, and I would get like a Guitar Aficionado magazine, and we'd hang out in the hotel room, and like that would be the thing I was into. It's been a
so
while
cool.
since we've done that. Makes me kind of miss that.
Yeah, I love that magazine. It's so high quality, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever it is, 4 pages long.
Yeah, but like, even the paper and the ink is printed on, because that's like what I went to school for is like print.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I'm like, man, this is an expensive magazine.
Yeah, no doubt. I honestly think it's worth every penny, but
That's great.
anyways, okay. Then Steven goes on to ask, when are they going to fix this business of usernames not appearing in the chat? Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's,
I can email James after this
Okay.
live lesson. I'll try to. And if I don't, just remind me.
Yeah.
Or you can do it too.
it is like a more, it seems like such a simple, easy fix, but a lot of times this stuff, it takes a long time.
Sometimes it's in a hopper, and it gets.
That's
It's like
a great way to explain it.
the site is functioning, so it's not prioritized. Like there are things that are broken up here and it's across all brands: Drumeo, Guitareo, Recordio, Piano.
That's right. Yeah. So I promise we'll get to it. We will get to it. Okay, let's get to, I think this is the first question here. I haven't read it all the way through, but let's see. Nate had a blog post guide on February 16th, a beginner guitarist guide to rock. Okay, I will preface this. Randy actually wrote the article. Nate did not write it. So hopefully we're not throwing Nate under the bus in this article.
I just made the videos. I don't know.
He named many famous guitar players, but didn't name Stevie Ray Vaughan. Why? He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's one of Nate's favorites. This is almost sacrilegious.
I consider him a blues player first and foremost.
Yes.
That's why. Like if it was a blues, which is coming, a blues
That's
blog
exactly
post.
what Randy said. Yeah.
If I had to choose one, it would be sacrilege to put him in rock and not blues. That's the
right.
only reason. Yeah, he was rock. I mean, sorry, blues on steroids with a lot of rock influence.
Totally.
But it's primarily blues. That's the only reason.
I completely agree. I mean, if I'm being honest too, I would even put Jimmy closer to the blues camp. I think he rides the line a lot better.
Yeah, I think he was one of the pioneers in like making guitar rock, right?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, it's hard to put him in a vein. I think the way he played was more of a blues style of playing, but the genre was maybe more rock. I don't know. Anyways, we could probably argue about this.
no, that's a good point though. It's valid because I think Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan are probably two of the biggest influences on rock guitar players to date.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I were to name the 2 greatest guitar players of all time, which is the hardest thing to ever, those would be my 2. Those would be the 2 that I would name. Let's see here. Vincent and Natasha at me. Aren't you afraid those zippers might scratch the finish of your guitar?
I used to be, like, because I wear jackets like that or things just with zippers on it, but after a while, I'm just like, whatever.
That's exactly how I feel. This guitar is my only guitar that is poly, and poly doesn't look the best necessarily scratched, honestly, so it's probably not the best idea. But at the same time, when it's like my nitro guitars, they scratch so
easily. Yeah, you can't do anything.
You just
It's
can't
like,
do anything about it.
Oh, I just scratched my guitar. Oh, I scratched it again. Oh, I scratched it again.
Well, have you seen my Strat and the lines right here?
Yeah.
It's just like dug out, and I've had the guitar for a couple years. It's just with nitro, let it get beat up.
I would
just don't care.
love I would love for the finish on my Les Paul to be more hardy, but I just recognize that there's nothing I can do about it. And every time I put it in the case, it gets scratched.
Yeah,
So,
it's unfortunate, like, when you're trying, especially if you got, like, a pristine-looking instrument, but I don't know. I just think, like, the way that I think about it, this is a terrible, terrible, like, way of thinking about it, but I remember reading a thing. When I was a little kid, I read the Harry Potter books, and I remember there was an interview with the author way back, like I was probably in like grade 8 or something like that, and she said, I never want to sign somebody who's has a hardcover book that isn't like just destroyed from reading it, right? And I was thinking about it, it's like, it's kind of the same with guitar. Like when you see a guitar that's been like played and loved and like, I mean, maybe those are two separate things because when you love something, you take care of it, but when you really like play something, I feel like that is like the proper way to treat a guitar. I don't know. I might be wrong.
You could take care of it to the hilt and still, like if you're playing a lot, like a lot of cover gigs and stuff, it's gonna get scratched up. Like I take pretty good care of this guitar, but it's getting fairly beat up.
I love the look, but you can see the top is pretty thin. Like whatever the coat is on the top.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's very thin. It's not like a thick poly. If it is poly,
the marks
I would
look
think
good
it's
to
poly.
me, man.
I don't know.
I like those.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's keep going here. Matthew Miller mentioned we play Reckless Love at church, and being able to play that would be fantastic for an acoustic set if we did one.
Yeah, no, that's the reason I came up with that little arrangement, because usually people go, what is it? Something like that. But when I'm playing with my wife, she just plays open chords, right? So it needs something. So I'm kind of filling up the bass and the little riff at the same time. And that's what I'd recommend doing, is just getting that first, and then throwing this on top. But yeah, separate the parts first for sure, because it's really weird. Yeah.
Oh, you play on that string.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
it's
Okay.
basically just broke it up.
I use that interval a lot.
What is it? Okay, it's think about this A minor bar chord, and then think about your root here, and then think about the third on top. So that's the shape I'm thinking of, more or less all the way down as you move down the third chord.
Yeah.
So then there's the G shape with the third on top. There's the F shape with the third on top, and then same thing, this shape.
Yep. My go-to. So when you just did that in my head, if I were to play the same thing by ear, I do the same shape.
I can't believe I worked that it worked out properly for me. So
Yeah.
yeah. So either way you want to do it.
And you jumped. Yeah. You even jumped down to doing the interval with the E string. Totally.
Yep.
So there's all those different ways to.
Yeah, but the trick is this.
It's the pattern.
Yeah. That's the toughest part. I'm gonna do like a little Instagram video on that riff, probably this week. Just like a little 30-second clip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a cool, like that pattern is pretty useful in other stuff,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
It's good coordination building little thing.
Do you have any questions in there? We can I can keep going. So
No,
I just
go ahead.
want to make sure we're not missing stuff. Let's see. Randy says, spoiler alert, the next style guide is blues. Yeah, Randy put a ton of time into that first rock style guide, and it is such a good read if you guys haven't checked it out. It's awesome. It's got like a Spotify playlist that is like embedded
didn't know
in there.
that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's really cool, and like Apple Music links and Amazon Music links for every song. So like Randy broke down what he considers to be like essential listening in that genre.
That's awesome.
And then the list is all like aggregated for you. It's really cool. And gear recommendations for every single type of gear that you would want for that genre. It's really cool. He did a really good job. So make sure you check it out. It's on the Guitareo blog, which is guitareo.com/blog.
And there's a few more in the works too.
Yeah, the blues one's coming very soon. Steven says, I want Andrew's guitar. This one I
an
don't
awesome
play
guitar, man.
a ton. I really like it. And I need to play it more.
And the guitar I'm getting is very similar, like
The
is very
PRS,
similar
right?
to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only real difference is it's a set neck,
Okay?
and it's got a mahogany body maple top instead of that. But like functionally, it's got humbuckers. It's semi-hollow.
They have a very unique, like the semi-hollow guitars have very unique tone. You do notice it being very breathy.
Airy.
I think is the way that I do it. But honestly, basically, this is just a telly, a thin line telly.
thin line telly.
So the only difference is it doesn't
It's
have
got-
wide range, and it's got coil split, which is kind of interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's my favorite setup for guitars.
Kind of a handy little thing to have. Then Marv asks, what make is Nate's acoustic?
It's an Alvarez Yari GY1. It's old. It's older than Andrew. It's
Oh, yeah, that's
it's
right.
a 1990.
1990?
Yeah.
2 years older than I am. Very nice guitar though. Sounds good, plays well.
Well, like I was thinking the other day, if I could have like an electric guitar literally built from the ground up, I'd be like, electric guitar. I'd be like, start with this.
And profile that neck.
Profile this neck.
Yeah.
Same fretboard radius, because it's pretty flat.
Yep.
I'd like this guitar, if I could get this in electric, I would.
And then you'd put 10s on it, probably, right?
10s, yeah.
So it would feel like this neck, but with 10s, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I get it.
Just ridiculous.
That is it. I don't know if I've ever heard someone like want an electric guitar to feel like their acoustic guitar.
Neither have I, so.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Let's
unique.
see. This one, another one from Steven here. Could you guys and gals take up a collection to get me one of the 2 guitars these guys are playing? I would be eternally grateful.
I don't know if you could find this one.
That one, I don't know if you could.
You might be
either.
able to find one on eBay once every couple of years.
Yeah, eBay Reverb might
It's
be able to.
it's a, believe it or not, and I had no idea when my dad got this. He had no idea either. It's a Jerry Garcia signature model.
Oh,
from
like
Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
I was like, I just
Awesome
like the way it
guitar
sounds.
Inspired me to get into envelope filters. If you're familiar with envelope filters, Jerry Garcia uses one a lot. Such cool sound, like the wah 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 kind of thing.
The one that makes you do that with your mouth even though you're not saying anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an auto wah. Really cool. Let's see.
Yeah. If you have any questions, get them in here, guys. Of course, if you just don't want to deal with the whole email thing and the delay thing, put them in the chat. In the chat.
In the chat. Steven continues to ask, these are great questions, by the way. Keep it up. What do you guys think about the new Fender Acoustasonics? Personally, for $2,000, I think you'd be better off
They're
with a good
$2,000?
acoustic and a good electric.
I thought they were like $800.
I'll be honest, I would say, yeah, I would think so too.
Wow, I didn't know they were $2,000. I thought they were like max 1,000.
I actually hadn't checked the MSRP, but I guess it doesn't surprise me if, depending on the parts that they're using, if they're like an American-made, their
it's solid
MSRP
wood, yeah.
maybe is $2,000.
Let's check this out.
I'd be curious what they are at like at retail. Yeah, you should check because I'd be very
I'd probably
curious.
butcher that spelling. That is not.
Get the amplifier.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go Sweetwater.
Yeah,
It's all for me.
idea. I'll keep talking about it, but I think they're really cool instruments, and I watched some demos of them when they were announced at NAMM, and I think I watched Anderton's, their demo of it.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I really like the sound specifically of the back pick. I think it's got a back pickup on it, if I remember correctly. They might not be selling yet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't,
Let's
it's
look.
Acoustasonic, right? Acoustasonic?
Oh, here they are.
Okay. Yeah, what is the pricing? Oh,
$2,000. Holy smokes. Okay, I got to read the specs on this.
yeah.
Because I really want to know. If it has to be solid wood for $2,000. Holy smokes.
To me, I'll let you give your thoughts first.
Well, I don't know what my thoughts are yet. So go ahead.
To me, the way that I look at a guitar like that, I look at it as if you want to have a specific style and a specific sound, that's like one of those, you play that guitar to me. Like, I think like that would be your one instrument, and you play a style that utilizes that guitar to its fullest potential. At least in my mind, I think the back pickup on it sounds really cool because it's very different from a regular Telecaster.
Like the electric pickup?
Yeah. I found it to sound really, really interesting. I believe it's just a piezo pickup. Am I right? Is that what it says? Do you know?
Let's see. Voice electric, percussion. There's so much information here. I'm just like,
Yeah, because I think essentially the sound.
piezo and magnetic pickup sealed acoustic strums to Texas leads.
Okay, so
I'll be the judge of that.
basically in my mind, like I said, the back pickup does sound really cool because it's very different sounding because of the way the guitar is built and stuff. If you guys haven't seen them, they're basically an acoustic guitar mashed up with a Telecaster. But a piezo isn't going to really utilize the sound hole at all, right? A piezo basically, it sits, I think, underneath the bridge, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's basically how they work, and they use vibrations to basically reproduce an electrical signal. That's my terrible simpleton version of it. I'm not an electrical engineer. But what that does is it basically nulls and voids the sound hole a lot. It doesn't really need it. It just would then be kind of a cool thing when you're playing acoustically, which is a cool idea.
Doesn't come with a hard shell case.
Yeah, I mean, my Sir didn't either. My other
Really?
Sir, my other one.
That surprises me too.
A lot of them come with gig bags now.
But
it's kind of
it is solid wood, so
okay. So I think it just really has to be like your cup of tea.
good thing.
Yeah.
And if it is, I'm sure it's really cool.
I'm sure it plays great. I'm sure it sounds like it's supposed to sound, I guess is a way to put it.
This guitar has a piezo,
Okay.
and it's on it, in it, under it,
Just a piezo?
piezo.
And do you like how it sounds plugged in?
It depends.
Okay.
I like how it sounds better, plugged in better than most acoustic guitars I pick up off the rack.
Now, are you going to put a K and K in there?
I already bought it.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah,
I'm
right.
keeping this one because the output on it's here. I'm gonna keep the K and K and put it here that way because this one, like Monty Montgomery, does a lot of like electric acoustic stuff where he has like actual
I mean, a piezo is
distortion
perfect
on it.
for that.
It works better for that than the K and K. So I'm keeping
Absolutely
both.
would. It's very interesting, though. It's cool that they, you know what? I'll give it to them. They did something different.
I think
and cool.
I think it's a gigantic step up from the like teleacoustics that they used to do. Those
Yeah.
things were a little.
People kind of crapped all over them when they put those out a little bit. Like they still have a bit of a bad rap. But.
They sounded good plugged into an acoustic amp.
Okay. Yeah.
But like I probably played 30 or so of those, and like that the setup on them out of the box is just terrible.
To me, if I had $2,000 to spend, like this would just be my perspective, and I would spend. Honestly, I'd probably spend like $700 on an electric and then like $1,300
On
an
an
acoustic.
acoustic,
Something like that. Like
a used telly and the
Exactly.
acoustic of my choice.
yeah, that would be my go-to. But if maybe you want one instrument that does it all, that's really high quality, maybe that would be your pick. Or go ahead.
I'd probably like it if I had it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, an acoustic with an electric neck would feel great, I'm sure. So, let's see. Apparently, Lewis is saying that not only are they 2K, but you can't even find them right now. So maybe
No, I
there's
bet they did. I
sold
think
out
they
of
did a really good job of
marketing them.
marketing and like just pumping them up before they even came out.
Yeah, it's cool and it's new, and I props to them for doing something new because I think a lot of people get tired of just like a new version of the same thing every year.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of guitar manufacturers do. Okay, here's a more technical question. This one's from Scott. Can you give me some tips on fingerstyle rolling down? I have trouble with muting the other strings and not letting them ring out.
Rolling up, rolling down. Let's say we're doing a D chord because you have to. Let me know if this is what you're talking about or not. So let's say you're playing a D chord and you're rolling down. Let me tune because that's disgusting. And you can, I'll show you both ways. Like if I'm doing classical stuff, if you're doing classical where you're floating your hand, you just have to train yourself to be accurate and not hit the other strings. Or use your thumb to mute like the low string, but I can't even get my thumb to mute the A string, it won't reach.
Yeah.
But you can do it. But most people are going to be doing some kind of version of this or this. I can't play with my pinky on the top, believe it or not. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
That seems to be a go-to for a lot of people.
yeah. But if you use a thumb pick, or if you're resting your palm on the bridge and your pinky on top, something like this, just palm mute the low E and A strings, and then do your rolling. And if you're not doing classical, you should get, like where you're floating your hand, you should get used to where your hand just lives here on this bridge if you're doing fingerstyle stuff. That way, you have a point of reference. If you're not muting everything or anything, Or if you need to mute the strings, they're already muted, right? And that comes in handy when you want to get that kind of thing going there anyway. So it's like multi-purpose. It's quieting the lower strings in the bottom and getting that little Travis picking thing in there. So that's the biggest tips I have. Those are the biggest tips I have. I hope that's what you meant. I hope I didn't explain the inverse of what you're talking about. If it's the inverse, I don't even worry about it. Like, I might use my pinky to mute the high strings if I'm rolling up on the low strings. But it works either way. Like you're either muting with your palm or muting with your hand, like on the strings you're not playing with your fretting hand. So muting is the key.
Makes sense.
And doing it very slowly and painfully for like the first month.
Yeah.
All rolling down, you said, I think. Cool.
Nice. Let's see. Scott, just follow up from him, says, I don't have a problem with the thumb. It's the other three. I use the classical method most of the time.
Okay, good to know. So, rolling down. Rolling down. I hope this is what he means. Let me know if you think it's something else. Classical method, rolling down. Keeping the lower strings quiet, is that what he said?
Mm-hmm. It's the three, not the thumb.
The three? Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, when I play that D chord and I roll down, they just ring out the entire time until I go up to hit them again. That's typical. You don't want to, unless it's very specific, you don't want the, I can't even do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about when you do fingers and thumbs, like all the fingers at once, you can do this thing where you come back and mute them every time after you play them.
Right.
And if you're talking about that, then it's just a matter of doing this very slowly to gain the control and the coordination to where when your thumb goes down, your fingers go out, prepare, and mute the strings. So maybe a follow-up explanation will help. Hope that's what we're talking about. If not, let us know.
Do you have any questions in there?
Nope. Refresh. Somebody asked a gear question the other day in the forum. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, do not do that.
Oh no. Electric or acoustic guitar question?
Can't remember.
Hey, we ended up in the same key.
I ran out of frets.
Yeah. Now, are you a bigger fan of guitars with cutaways?
Somebody asked me that the other day in an email.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the question, but they're like, should I get a cutaway if I have an acoustic? I was like, man, unless you're doing like stuff like that,
Yeah.
then there's no reason to have it. Like, I sometimes play up there, but look, once I get past like 14, my hand has to come up here anyways to even use the cutaway because the neck joint is already there. So, like, really, it's not really doing much for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The only time I could see myself is if you're capoing like really high and doing like jangly stuff.
Yeah. Even that, like, once I get up here, my technique is destroyed because my thumb is left behind. And I get
Totally.
that, I'm like, end up having to do this.
Kind of like the Edge. Have you noticed he does that? When he plays parts down here even.
No, I've never watched much of him playing.
Weird.
So I don't think it matters. I like the aesthetic of it. That's really the only reason for me. And I do sometimes do more like leady stuff on acoustics.
Right. I've got another question here.
Cool.
I think I actually might have missed this one earlier, so thank you for putting it back in here, Alex. Lately, the muscle between my index finger and thumb The one that gets used for bar chords is getting tired or even hurting faster. Any idea what might be causing it or what I'm doing wrong?
How long are your practice sessions you're doing this for? Because like I can only play bar chords for, especially on acoustic, for 10 minutes before I'm gonna start to go. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I need a break. So if you're practicing for more than like 10, 15, 20 minutes with bar chords, then chop your practice sessions up into smaller little bits throughout the day, if you can.
I do suggest, I had a big problem with this part of my hand. I tore it actually. I was really into wrestling for a long time, and I just had an awkward injury where this bent back to there, and I'm not flexible that way.
That's rough.
Tore it. Went through all the rehab to get it back again, but still to this day, it's the one spot on my hand.
Scar tissue in there?
Tired really bad, really fast. It's always hard. Yeah, so probably from scar tissue. If you push on that right now, just lightly, it hurts so bad. And
sucks.
obviously that affects my guitar playing and stuff.
Well, it's a good thing you don't, like you do these bar chords. So.
Which is what I was gonna suggest is sometimes if you're feeling pain and you're like pushing past that point of pain, you don't want it to actually hurt. Right?
Yeah, like a good burn or like, oh, I'm tired. That's a different.
It's great for you. But I mean, I would suggest maybe even taking a couple day break, maybe making sure that that gets healed up properly. Do like maybe some stretches, nothing crazy, but just make sure that the mobility stays there. I found a big issue with mine is when it was really bad, the mobility wasn't there. I mean, you probably didn't tear anything. And then maybe just find some alternative ways to play bar chords. It really does help.
It does. Like, what was I playing the other day? I was doing those fingerstyle videos. I just did like a slew of fingerstyle videos. And I was playing an F major bar chord. I was like, I can't do this all the time. I can't sit here and practice a pattern holding this bar chord for 5 minutes, right?
Totally. So you use that other version?
I switched back and forth between.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And that's the thing. Like I've developed a habit where I use that almost all the time, but you don't need it to be. You can use the regular version 90% of the time, and then when you need a break, like Nate was talking about, then swap up to.
It's good to be able to do both. It's kind of like this G and this G that you posted on Instagram today.
Yeah, same idea with the 1, 2, 3 and the 2, 3, 4 G major chords for sure.
Yeah, but at the beginning of each practice session, you can even stretch it a little bit, massage it a little bit, maybe take a couple days rest. So it gets back up to normal, so that's some recovery time. Because it's like, if you do that every day, it's like going out and bench pressing every day. You don't get recovery time for your muscles, and eventually something's gonna blow out.
You end up doing damage, right, over time. So luckily with the smaller muscles, they don't need that same big, like 48 hours of rest or whatever. You can do shorter amounts of rest, but you can absolutely overdo it on a muscle.
Maybe come up with a A day and a B day, and have like your A days involve bar chords and your B days involve whatever else that's not a bar chord.
That's a great idea. Really good idea. I think this might be the last thing. Scott, just a follow-up, says, I'll record myself and email it to you later so you can see what I do. That's for the 3 fingers.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love that, man. If you can, like, describe it in the video too, instead of just playing. That'd be great.
Let me see. I don't see anything else in chat.
Let me see. I don't think I see anything else in here. Nope.
Okay, well then I guess we can wrap it up there. Do you want to play something else?
Yeah, I'm going to play that little bluesy thing I was playing earlier.
Okay, I will play along.